Hey, this is Phasmite from Thermite Labs here with the first video in our series of Overwatch workshop tutorials. This video is a level 0 tutorial meant for those brand new to creating custom games in Overwatch. Today I will be covering just about everything to do with creating custom modes except for the actual workshop portion. Rather, that will be covered in just about any of our other tutorial videos. Alright, to begin, we want to press the play button on the main menu here and navigate to the rightmost tile labeled Game Browser. And this is just a list of all the custom games currently running. Here you can go off and play any mode that piques your interest, or you could go and make your own using the Create button in the top right of your screen. Now, if you're hosting a game and want other people to join, this left half of the screen is most important. You can change the lobby title and privacy settings here in the top left. You can configure your teams right in the center, and start the mode right below that. You can also add AI players with the button in the top right, though that will seldom be used while working in the workshop. On the other end, if you're here to make a mode rather than host one, the most important button here is the settings button off on the right side. Unfortunately, just pressing this button won't automatically make you a mode, so I'll actually have to explain what's here. This screen features 6 tiles, 6 buttons, and 6 consonants in the top left, and coincidentally it will be your portal to the underworld known as the workshop. Now, what's actually known as the workshop is contained in the bottom right tile here, and I'm sure you'll see what it does in most other videos I make, but today I'm literally worried about everything else. First off, you'll see the presets tab in the top left. Click that and you'll be brought to a list of all game modes you have saved, along with numerous default presets. This is a way for you to save your various creations, but I would highly recommend saving them out of the game somewhere. However, I would encourage you to use presets to take a peek at other people's modes, which you can copy through codes or as shown here. When used, these will import all modifications from the mode that you saved and will insert them into your custom game. The lobby tab has to do with anything that happens outside of the game. Any setting that you could possibly imagine not during the game, it's here. And most of these are self-explanatory. I'd highly encourage you to go through this page before making any mode and fine-tuning it to your ideal needs, as every mode will likely have a different configuration. Here's my personal opinion on a few settings, like max spectators, crank it to 12. More spectators means more eyes on your mode, which is rarely a bad thing. Allow players who are in queue. If your mode can support in-progress joining, this is a huge recommendation. There's such a large population of players in the workshop that only play when they're in a queue. So if you can turn this on, you've just secured so many more players for your game mode than before. As for match voice chat, I'd say keep this on 100% of the time, except if you're doing a competitive mode of some sort. I've seen many groups of people who will use match chat if it's on, and it's a great way for users to stick around longer in your lobby. A common issue for many people. Under the mode style, you'll be able to tune game mode specific settings as well as any settings that actually affect the game itself while it's running. All of the settings in the tiles generally have to do with the objective of each mode and allow you to change win conditions and such. The All tab has general settings that generally affect every mode, and again, are pretty self-explanatory. One thing I do want to note here, on a side note, is the setting respawn as random hero. Now, it does what it says and causes the player to spawn as a random hero that's currently enabled, but it also disables the hero select screen, which can be great for modes that have forced heroes in the first place. So if you have one hero that everyone plays as, turn this on, and everyone will immediately spawn in. It's great. It's not documented on this page, so I felt it was important to share here. Other than that, as of the current update, event modes will only show if you're creating modes during the respective event. Since I'm recording this during the anniversary event, you'll see that all modes are able to be enabled, but just remember this doesn't always ring true. The Maps tab is super complex and difficult, so I don't think I'll be able to explain that here. Maybe somebody can try to take a crack at it later, but I sure as hell won't be able to tell you how to work this monstrosity. The only thing I've been able to figure out is that if you have deathmatch, team deathmatch, elimination, or skirmish, there are workshop exclusive maps that you're able to use, which are mighty handy when you're testing or making modes. The final tile here is labeled Heroes, and I still have no clue what it pertains to. You know, maybe the TV show Heroes? No clue. But after hours of investigating, it seems you can change settings regarding all of the heroes when you click their name, or affect every hero in the general settings. You can even enable and disable heroes in the hero roster tab, but all of this seems pretty useless since I can't even change the length of Mercy's ult. Anyways, that covers all of the main tabs. Remember, presets are saves, lobbies for settings out of game, modes is for settings in game, maps does something, and heroes changes hero stuff, and workshops for another video. All this is super important, but we also can't forget the right summary panel here. It's got 6 buttons, a description box, and tells you what you changed in the previous 6 screens. The first button, the floppy disk, saves your current game into a preset of your choosing. The button next to it, a down arrow with a rectangle that's missing a corner. It's an odd symbol for sure. I have no clue what that's even supposed to indicate, but it lets you import any code that you either saved, were sent, or found online, and will import a mode much like a preset. The third button there lets you create those codes that you can import or even update an old code with an updated version of a mode, and this is super important, so make sure to use this feature correctly. And I, of course, would never do this myself, but an immoral individual could always spam create, 612 codes or more and store them all in a text file, constantly adding more every hour so that they have more potential to have memorable import codes, but I would never do that, and you guys totally shouldn't do that yourself. Anyways, the fourth button allows you to report the code you currently have enabled. I've yet to use this yet, but I've really been thinking about reporting tiny Overwatch one of these days. The last 2 buttons are for copy pasting your game code and settings. The paste button only existing if you have a mode copied. This can be used so that your modes can be saved as text files, something very, very important to ensure you never lose too much progress if for some reason a save is wiped. Finally, you have the description box, which you can use to put instructions, social media, or, God forbid, a game description. Just know the majority of players in the game browser don't read this, so don't rely on it much. Trust me, after hundreds of lobbies of having instructions there, maybe 2% or less of players actually check there. It's really unreliable. And with that, I've covered just about everything about custom game editing that isn't the workshop, and which is kind of interesting given this is a workshop channel. So anyways, please feel free to continue watching more tutorials here. A subscription would mean a lot, especially in these first weeks of me running this channel. This is a ton of work, brand new to me. I'm new to YouTube, been on Twitch for years, but YouTube's a new foray for me. So it would mean a lot. If you have any suggestions for video topics or ways to improve the channel, I'm all ears. Feel free to comment them below or even DM me on Discord. It's Phasmite hashtag 0444. 3 4s. I would take any suggestions. But seriously, thank you for watching. This has been Phasmite for Thermite Labs. See you next time.